It's my pleasure to introduce to you a true business growth expert and entrepreneur, Shankar Poncelet. With over 10 years of experience in the industry, Shankar is taking his own business to the impressive $1 million mark by leveraging the power of AI. As the host of the Shankar Poncelet podcast, Shankar shares his wealth of knowledge and expertise in utilizing AI for business success. He offers tips, tricks, and strategies that help entrepreneurs and business owners stay ahead of the curve and achieve their goals. Please give a warm welcome to Shankar Poncelet.
Woohoo! Yeah, come on, guys. Give me an applause. Oh, yeah. That's nice. Well, here we go. So if you want to share this room for me, click the three dots at the top. The correct name for the three dots is ellipsis. And then you share the event. I'm going to talk a little bit about online ads for you. It's a topic that can be very frustrating. And me as a marketing agency owner, it's the same. Online ads are frustrating. Now, I want to get a gauge on the room here. Who here in the room loves online ads? Give me a heart. Who loves it? Okay, looks like nobody loves it. Very understandable. Who here in the room is really frustrated with online ads? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, Raz, frustrated. Everyone else? Who here in the room has already tried doing online ads and they were not happy with their outcome? Give me a clap. Okay, Raz. All right, everyone else is just listening in. That's totally fine. Now, I want us to understand a few things when it comes to online ads. Number one, it is really something for left-brained people. In order to be successful with online ads, you have to be analytical. You have to be willing to look at a few metrics, which we will discuss today. And you have to be willing to track all these metrics, because otherwise you are driving blindly. And you're just going to spend a lot of money with no outcome. You have no idea how many businesses, how many people spend ongoing budget on ads and they don't know what is doing. Mostly because they are not left-brained. And also another big reason is because they don't want to track or they don't know how to track to get to the metrics to make all of this hazy kind of path toward from ad to customer clearer. Okay, so I'll talk about a few metrics right now. Number one, a metric that, and by the way, all these metrics are to a certain degree influenceable by you. If you make a better ad, if you are a better closer, you can move the range on a metric. But also to a certain degree, it's just statistics, and you cannot, like, there's a lower and upper limit of these metrics. So first of all, I want you to think about the concept of a click-through rate. Click-through rate. What that means is when 100 people see your ad and one person clicks the ad, that's a click-through rate of 1%. So when you do your ads, the first thing you want to know is, well, what am I to expect? And you can achieve that by looking at benchmarking numbers. And the use case I will utilize today is I have a health insurance agent ask me, can you help me place ads for Medicare programs? Okay, so the first thing I do is I go on the internet and I look for benchmark material. Okay, what is on average the click-through rate on Facebook? You want to be specific about the platform because it varies per platform. For ads placed in the health insurance field, right? I asked ChatGPT for that. It gave me good numbers. So it says generally it is between 0.5 and 2%. So I'm going to go ahead and take the middle there, okay? So I'm going to say 1.25%, okay? So what we know now, this is an educated expectation now that if we are on Facebook and we run ads, if 100 people see an ad, then we can expect 1.2, meaning only one because there is no 0.2 person in the world. We can expect only one person to click on the ad. Okay, so next, once you have clicked the ad, what you really want the person to do is give you their information, right? So that they turn into a lead. So for that, we are looking at the next metric in this journey, and that is the conversion rate of your ad. Conversion rate of your ad. And again, same approach. We use the internet and the wealth of information available to us, and we research what is a benchmark number in lead conversion rates on ads in the healthcare insurance field on Facebook. So I did my research and I found again that a happy medium should be 3%. Okay. So what does that actually mean? That means that if you want to find out how many leads you will be getting, you need to first consider the click-through rate, 1.25%, and then consider the conversion rate, 3%. That means that if you want a formula to find out how many leads you get, you need to say, okay, if 100 people see my ad, the click-through rate is times 1.25, and the lead rate is times 3%. And that gets very little, okay? So just to let you know, if you want, if you want one lead with these metrics that I have given you, if you want only one lead, 2,666 people need to see your ad. It's called impression, okay? You need to have 2,666 impressions in the first place to even have a chance to get one single lead. Okay. Now comes the big question is, well, how much does that cost me, right? Well, luckily, again, you can research the cost per click. The cost per click right now on Facebook ads, the average is about $0.9, so 90 cents. Okay. So that would mean that you need to spend $30 to get one lead. $30 to get one lead. Now, we here all in the room know that if you have a lead, that doesn't mean at all that you have a customer, right? And this is where it starts getting very interesting, because once we have a lead, it depends largely on us what we do with that lead. Are we good closers? Factor number one. do we have a service and or a project that is appealing to people? Factor number 2. Is it any good? Factor number 2. And then also in our industry, what is the sales cycle? Factor number 3. Meaning, do we have something that people typically buy right away? They make the decision right that day. It's usually not the case. Or are we in a very complex industry where it takes sometimes months, and even in very advanced B2B situations, years, until someone turns into a customer? Okay, but in order to kind of continue with our idea here, I would say that most businesses say, they aim for a 10% conversion rate. Otherwise, they really need to get a better closer, a better salesperson. So that means then I need to speak to 10 people in order to get one customer. Okay. So now let's go back and if we pay 90 cents per click, and we have a 1.25 click-through rate, and we have a 3% conversion rate for a lead, and we have a 10% closing rate, now all of a sudden we're getting a much better picture, because now I can tell you, well, based on these metrics, if you want one paying customer, you need to spend $300. And that is where it gets interesting, because most people don't do that math in their mind, right? And they just go and first of all, they spend $200 on an ad campaign. Guess what? They never had a chance to get their first customer in the first place, right? Because the mathematics, the statistics tells us on average you need to spend $300 to even get your first customer. Okay. Now, what does that also mean? Well, it means that if the value of your customer is less than $300, guess what you're doing? Not money. You're losing money by placing ads. Okay. If the lifetime value of one of your customers is not at least $300, well, then you have no business doing this. So a lot of businesses also don't know what the lifetime value of their customer is. Okay. Now, this is an important concept, though, but because if on average a customer throughout their lifespan spends multiple times in your company, then your lifetime value might be much higher than that first transaction. Okay, so for me, my job as a marketer now is to go and ask my client who asks me to place ads on Facebook for Medicare, and ask him, hey, if someone signs up for your Medicare project in a year, do they make you more or less than $300? If the answer is less, well, then guess what? I need to tell them, listen, we can see if we can get really good at moving the needle on those metrics. Maybe we can higher the percentages a little bit. But if we can't, then this is not worth your time, right? So you see that if you have a certain lifetime, and this is all interconnected, of course, right? Because with some low ticket items, people are much quicker to say, okay, I'll purchase that course for $30, right? And maybe, you have a very high click-through rate because you are advertising that is something that is very hot these days that everybody wants, right? If you were to, for example, something that I purchased for $30 was a mini course on ChatGPT, 1,000 queries for $30, right? It was a Facebook ad. Now, the guy sold over 10,000 of his course, right? So if his lifetime value is higher or lower than those 30, that will decide whether it was a good move for him. Now, let me ask you, for whom in this room was this a little bit eye-opening? Give me a thumbs up if it was just a little bit eye-opening. Sabrina. And we have someone wanting to come up on stage. Let me see who you are. Okay, I'll bring you up on stage. Oh no, you changed your mind. Okay, Sabrina, why was it eye-opening to you? Are you willing to share? If yes, raise your virtual hand. I think for most people, this is an eye-opening topic because they realize, oh, well, first of all, I can really, if I understand the numbers and if I'm willing to go through this mathematical exercise, I can actually predict almost the outcome. And then for other people, it is about understanding there needs to be a minimum lifetime value of your customers. Otherwise, you're doing this and you are running on a deficit. Welcome on stage, Sabrina.
Hi, Shankar. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic. And you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome. What was the aha moment here in this session for you?
Well, this was very eye-opening. I have never run ads before, so this was very interesting to hear. You really explain it, break it down step by step to, I guess, in layman terms for those who have never run ads before. So I found it very educational. Excuse me. And then moving forward, if I ever choose to run ads, I can definitely go back on my notes because I did take notes on what you said. So I appreciate this piece here.
You are very welcome. I will say that this is recorded and I'll put it on my podcast later for re-listening. Yeah, so placing ads is a science, a field on its own, and the social media platforms want to make it appear as very easy and trivial to do. And quite frankly, most people don't know what they're doing, so they are setting the ad up so that it never has a chance in the first place. Because if you do a few mistakes only, then these click-through rates and conversion rates that are already very low are gonna get only lower, and like, for example, a lot of mistakes that people do is the targeting is just way too broad, right? And like that impacts those numbers immensely. Like if you show an ad to people who don't fall into the demographics or sociographics of your target audience, then you're really doing a big mistake there. So well, thank you for your comments, Sabrina. I'm really happy that this helped you. Anything else? Anyone else want to come on stage and share or just contribute to the conversation? Raz, all right. Welcome to stage, Raz. What's your input?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
So first of all, you have to give me the AI tool because I love it. So that's the first thing. But I'm having some, I just want to share. We invested in a solar company here in Israel. And basically what they do is they set up solar fields and solar roofs. And they get about between 10 to 20% ROI per year. For each project, it's a little bit different. So they run ads, and we're trying to figure out how we can scale up the profitability of the business. And from what I've seen, their cost is not good. So they spend between like 400 to 500 ILS, which is like $100 to $150 US, to get just to get a lead, right? And then the closing rate, obviously, it's a very high-end product, project, and so the closing rate is also very low. So it's about between 3% and 4% closing rate. So it's very, very expensive, the whole marketing thing. And I think this is what's causing the business this stale in growth that we want to break. So I was wondering if you have like any feedback on that or anything that you would recommend doing.
Yes, I would definitely say, okay, look at, it's already great that you have some numbers, some idea of the numbers, because most businesses have none. You ask these questions and they cannot answer it. You have them. Now, your next step is the benchmarking per platform, per industry, because your numbers will vary per platform, meaning you're going to have different results on Google versus LinkedIn versus Twitter versus Facebook versus any other part. So you want to benchmark, meaning what are other companies in a similar field, as close as you can get spending, and what do they get as a return. And the more like elaborate your industry is, sometimes you're going to have to pay for that information. And a lot of businesses are not willing to do that, right? Because for them, it's like, why am I paying for data? That means nothing to me. Wrong. Very often, that investment helps you navigate your ad campaign as an informed user. And then you can go and work with your agency and your team, if you do it in-house, and push toward realistic goals, right? Because that is the thing, is like, if most of us don't even know, am I good, am I bad, can we improve this or not? And sometimes, very often actually, you have to find out, well, this is as good as this gets, and if we don't, the needle we need to move is internally on increasing our profitability per sale, right? Not on the ads. So, but yeah, that's where I would go next, is really drill down on the benchmarking per industry, per platform, and then set realistic expectations internally.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. And what's the AI tool called?
Which one?
The thing that you put at the beginning to introduce yourself.
Yeah. So
I have to get it.
it's called Descript. There's a free version, and I just you paste the script in there, and then the voice reads it, and you can add background music, and that's it.
Okay, got it.
I do have a webinar on Saturday where I walk you through everything on a live Zoom call. That if you want to attend, that is on 10 a.m. Central Time on Saturday. And the landing page for that is at aimasterbootcamp.com, aimasterbootcamp.com. Alternatively, here on LinkedIn, you click my face and go to the link in my profile. Alternatively, you just message me to get the link. So awesome. Well, thank you all for your time and participation. Don't forget to explore each other's profiles, connect with each other, because you never know when that connection turns into gold. Playing a little bit of music for you, and then I'll see you again very, very soon here on my platform. Thanks for your time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.